I found out my fiancé was gay the night before our wedding. But that wasn't the part that destroyed me. It was the lie she told afterward, the one that made everyone I loved turn their backs on me like I never existed. That lie didn't just break my heart. It erased me. Her name was Emily. 7 years together. And from the very beginning, she told me she was bisexual. I appreciated the honesty. It made me feel trusted, chosen. We weren't the kind of couple who lit fireworks in public or screamed love from the rooftops. No, we were quieter than that. We were a cup of black coffee and almond milk at 6 a.m., a shared glance across a record store aisle, lazy Sundays swapping books under a shared blanket. I thought we were building a life. A real one. She moved into my place in Portland 2 years after we met. A cozy 2-bedroom walk-up with a view of the Willamette River and enough sunlight for all her ferns. Our lives synced like clockwork. Saturday mornings at the farmer's market, Tuesday trivia at the pub, Sunday mornings experimenting with new pancake recipes. She'd clip fresh flowers for the kitchen while I loaded up on artisan bread and the weirdest cheeses I could find. I loved the rhythm of us. There was no drama, no volatility, just us, in sync, steady and warm. So when I proposed, it felt like the natural progression of something sacred. I didn't do it with fanfare. I picked the art gallery where we had our first date. I even convinced the curator to let us in after hours. The ring was modest, white gold, a minimalist band with a tiny sapphire tucked into the underside because she hated anything flashy. Beneath her favorite abstract painting, I dropped to one knee. Her hands went to her mouth, eyes wide. She hesitated, only for a second, but I felt it. Like a breeze that lifts the edge of a tent, just enough to make you uneasy. She said yes. The celebration began quickly after that. Her friends screamed with excitement. My best man started brainstorming destinations. Italy or Colorado? Our group chat exploded. But under the flurry of champagne and venue tours, something gnawed at me. Why did she hesitate? I asked her one night as we lay in bed, our fingers laced together in the dark. Were you unsure? I was just nervous, she said. Her voice didn't waver, but her shoulders were stiff against the pillow. It's a big step. But I love you. Let's enjoy this. So I let it go. Then came the visit to her parents. It was supposed to be a warm embrace, a bottle of wine, shared joy. Instead, I got a handshake from her father that felt like a warning and a hug from her mother that lasted too short. Their smiles didn't reach their eyes. Are they okay? I asked in the car. They're just old-fashioned, she said, brushing it off with a wave. They'll come around. But the tension thickened. A shadow over the wedding that no one acknowledged. Then one Wednesday, just 10 days before the ceremony, I came home from work to find her standing at the front door, suitcase packed. I said, my mouth suddenly dry. She looked at me, eyes already red, voice rehearsed. I can't marry you, Ryan. I'm not bisexual. I'm gay. I've known for a while now. Her parents knew. Her friends knew. I was the only one kept in the dark. I need to go, she said. Please don't make this harder. Don't beg. Don't follow. Just let me go. And then she left. No tears. No apologies. Just the sound of the door clicking shut behind her. I stood there like a broken photograph, staring at the ghost of our life together. And the worst part? She blocked me before she even reached the sidewalk. Within a week, every friend we shared cut me off. They praised her on Instagram for living her truth. They called me toxic, accused me of reacting violently. I hadn't raised my voice. I hadn't sent a single message. Yet the world turned against me. And no one even asked my side. You'd think the worst part of getting left would be the leaving itself. But the silence that followed, that was the real knife. One moment, I was a groom-to-be, the next I was a ghost in my own story, watching strangers write the next chapter without me. I didn't just lose Emily. I lost everyone. Within 48 hours, I was blocked on every social app. Our mutual friends, her coworkers who became my friends, Even my college roommate who'd helped me plan the proposal, gone. Vanished. One by one, their names disappeared from my inbox like they were erasing me on purpose. And then the whispers began. I saw the first one on a mutual friend's story, a blurry screenshot of a comment. It's honestly so brave of her to finally come out. I just hope she's safe now. Safe? From what? I thought maybe I was imagining it. That it was some vague post not even about me. Until I saw the thread on Twitter. Someone had posted. It takes a lot of strength to walk away from someone abusive. And there it was. A reply. My friend just did. She came out and he lost it. Tried to make her stay. Threatened her. That's when I felt it. The whole floor beneath my life caving in. Emily hadn't just left me. She'd rewritten me. Suddenly, I wasn't a heartbroken fiancé. I was a villain in someone else's bravery tale. I couldn't breathe. I remember standing in the middle of our apartment, no, my apartment now, looking around at the leftovers of a shared life, her books, the half-used bottle of lavender body wash, the damn mug she always stole from my side of the cabinet. All of it mocked me. I tried texting one of her closest friends, Michelle. We'd spent countless nights double dating, hosting game nights, going to karaoke bars. My message was short. Please talk to me. I don't know what people are hearing, but it's not true. She didn't respond. But a day later, she posted a story of a group brunch with the caption, "Surround yourself with truth-tellers, not manipulators." My throat burned. But it wasn't until Paul called that everything clicked. It was nearly midnight. I was watching an old sitcom rerun, trying to forget what my life had become. When his name lit up on the screen, I hesitated. Paul had been in our circle from the beginning. He was the guy who helped us move in, the one who lent me his ladder when I hung up those cursed fairy lights Emily loved so much. If anyone would give me a shred of honesty, it was him. I picked up. Ryan? His voice was tight, like he was already regretting this. Yeah. I saw your TikTok. My chest clenched. I'd posted something vague, just a quiet video of the apartment, my untouched tux, and the caption, "What would you do if your whole life ended and no one asked why?" We didn't know. Paul continued. Emily told us you freaked out when she came out. She said you scared her. That she had to block you to stay safe. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. She said you threatened her if she walked away. He added more quietly. Those words. Threat. Scared. Unsafe. They weren't just rumors. They were poison, words that could ruin a person. I never touched her. I said, my voice barely audible. I let her walk. I didn't even raise my voice. I held the door open for her. Paul exhaled, shaky. I believe you now. A few of us asked her about it, really pressed her after seeing your post. She broke down. Said she panicked. She didn't want to lose us. She lied. The line went quiet. And something in me shattered. Not from sadness, but from the weight of the injustice. She hadn't just left. She'd painted me into a monster to save her own narrative. I'm sorry, man, Paul said. We screwed up. But sorry wasn't enough. That one lie, he threatened me, had cost me my friends, my reputation, my sanity. I spent weeks living off toast and water, too nauseous to eat. I passed out once in the shower and woke up in the ER. 3 hospital visits in 2 months. No one called. No one came. And now? Now they wanted to come back. I hung up without saying another word. The next morning, I created a new group chat. I added everyone, Paul, Michelle, Emily, even the ones who hadn't said a word in months. And then I wrote, if any of you had cared enough to ask my side, this wouldn't have happened. But you didn't. You believed a lie because it was easier. Because it made her brave and me expendable. You want forgiveness? Go find it somewhere else. Then I sent one final photo, a screenshot of the ER intake form from the night I collapsed. Diagnosis: dehydration. Exhaustion. Emotional trauma. Then I left the chat. Let them sit in that silence for once. I thought it would stop after that message. That once I told them the truth, the real truth, they'd back off. Maybe even disappear forever. But what came next? It wasn't peace. It was a second betrayal. And this time, it came wrapped in the softest voice imaginable. 3 days after I left that group chat, I got a message from an unknown number. Hi, I'm Mary. I think we need to talk. It took me a minute to place the name. Mary. Mary Foster. Emily's new girlfriend. The one I'd seen in tagged photos over the past few months, smiling beside her like nothing had ever existed before them. I stared at the message, my stomach flipping like I was back on the edge of that rooftop gallery where I proposed. Part of me wanted to ignore it. To stay buried in my isolation, where at least the hurt was predictable. But curiosity, that poisonous, uncontrollable part of me, answered back. We met up in a public cafe downtown. I chose the booth by the window, because I didn't want to be cornered. She was already waiting. When she looked up, I could tell instantly, this wasn't a confrontation. This was confusion. Worry. Maybe even betrayal. I didn't know about you, she said, almost before I sat down. I figured. I replied flatly. No, she insisted. I didn't know anything. Emily told me you were her old roommate. That you'd had a thing years ago, but it fizzled out, and you were just friends when she moved in with you. My mouth went dry. She told me your name was Alex. She added. Not Ryan. That hit me harder than I expected. My name? She changed my name in her story? Like I was some minor character not worth remembering? Mary slid her phone across the table. This is what she told me. It was a group chat. With Emily's new circle. The ones who now celebrated her bravery and reposted her self-love TikToks. There were photos, Emily and Mary at Pride, Emily at speaking events talking about navigating through toxic heteronormative relationships. A phrase she never once used with me, because she used to curl up in my arms and say, I don't believe in labels. I just believe in us. There were captions too. My ex was manipulative, possessive, and cruel when I came out. I didn't think I'd survive it. Never again will I shrink myself for a man. I'm finally free. I couldn't breathe. My heart beat so loud it drowned out the cafe chatter. She's rewritten everything, Mary said softly. And I didn't know. I never wanted to be part of that. I nodded, barely able to speak. The weight of it was too much. Because I'd finally learned the truth, Emily hadn't just lied to our friends. She had lied to herself. And now to someone new. Someone who only knew me as a cautionary tale, a shadow behind her triumph. Thank you for telling me, I finally said. I thought you should know, she said. And I think you deserve to tell your story too. That night, I sat alone in the apartment again, staring at the space she used to fill. And I did something I never thought I'd do. I posted. Not a rant. Not a subtweet. Just a simple video. A series of pictures from our 7 years together, vacations, lazy Sundays, the proposal, the text from Paul admitting she lied. Then, over a black screen, the caption. I was her partner for 7 years. I was never abusive. I was never dangerous. I was erased to make her journey look cleaner. This is my story. It went viral within hours. And suddenly, the narrative began to crack. People started commenting. Wait. I've seen her on TikTok. This doesn't add up. So many queer people come out in healthy ways. Why did she need to destroy someone to do it? This man has receipts. What does she have? The next morning, I woke up to chaos. Text messages from old friends. Some defensive. Some apologetic. A few even begged me to take the post down. But one stuck with me. A message from her mother. Ryan, please don't ruin her life. You don't understand what she's going through. I stared at it for a long time before replying. She ruined mine first. And I was the one who stayed quiet. Not anymore. And that's when the final piece snapped into place. My silence had protected her for too long. While I spiraled into anxiety attacks, hospital beds, and months of grief, she painted herself into a portrait of triumph. And when the truth got too messy, she cut me out of the frame. No more. You don't plan these moments. You think you'll avoid them. That if you stay quiet, disappear, let people believe whatever makes them feel good, the world will eventually move on. But it doesn't. Not when your name becomes a byword for abuse in group chats you were never invited to. Not when your silence is used as evidence that you must have done something wrong. So I stopped being silent. After the video I posted went viral, 2.3 million views and counting, everything changed. My phone, once a graveyard of unread texts, now buzzed constantly. Strangers thanked me. Others doubted me. And a few tried to warn me. She's spiraling. Paul texted. She saw the video. Says it's harassment. Then came the DM. From Emily herself. You're ruining my life. Please stop. I didn't mean to hurt you. Funny. I'd heard that phrase once, years ago, from a guy who rear-ended me at a red light and then blamed my brakes. Didn't mean to means nothing when you plan your exit while rewriting someone else's entire existence. So I replied. Then meet me. Say it to my face. She said yes. We met in a coffee shop uptown, neutral territory. I got there early, chose the corner seat, facing the door. I needed the upper hand, even if it was only symbolic. She arrived 10 minutes late. Sunglasses, scarf, no makeup. I barely recognized her. She sat down slowly. Her fingers trembled as she lifted the cup the barista handed her. I'm not here to fight, she said first. I didn't expect you to go public. I held her gaze. You told people I threatened you. Her eyes flicked down. I panicked. I didn't think they'd believe the truth. That I left a man who loved me for something I couldn't control. You could have just told the truth, I said. You could have said it hurt. That it was complicated. But you didn't. You said I scared you. That I tried to stop you from leaving. You made me the villain so your story could feel cleaner. A pause. Then a whisper. I didn't think anyone would care about your side. There it was. The truth, buried inside that one awful sentence. She'd banked on the world believing her because her story fit better into a narrative people wanted to support. She didn't expect me to survive the fallout. I lost everything, I said. You didn't just leave me, Emily. You left and told people I was dangerous. I was in the hospital. I couldn't eat. You disappeared, and they blamed me. You got parades. I got blocked. Her voice broke. I didn't know it got that bad. That's the problem, I said. You didn't care to know. We sat there, in the kind of silence that should have happened a year ago. The kind that comes too late to fix anything. I didn't cry. She didn't either. But her face twisted, not out of guilt, but fear. I might lose everything now, she said. My speaking gigs, my endorsements. I laughed. Bitter, hollow. You built your success on a lie. If it crumbles, maybe that's just karma showing up late. Her phone buzzed. She didn't look. She didn't need to. I stood up. We're done here. Don't contact me again. As I left, I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel lighter. But I felt seen. And for the first time in months, that was enough. But the fallout had only just begun. That night, I got a message from someone unexpected, Mary, Emily's now ex-girlfriend. She lied to me too. About everything. I didn't know she used you like that. I left her. Then another message. This one from Paul again. We're meeting tonight. Me, Sam, Laura, and the others. We want to talk. In person. I wasn't sure I could handle it. But something inside me whispered, go. Not for them. For me. We met at Sam's apartment, neutral ground again. They looked different this time. Smaller. Uncomfortable. Paul opened the door and didn't speak for a solid 5 seconds before hugging me. "We were wrong," he said. Sam nodded. "We believed her because it was easy. You were quiet." She was crying. It felt simpler to just follow the script. Laura spoke next. "You were never scary. You were kind. Maybe too kind. And we failed you." I didn't respond. I let the silence hang. Let them feel what I had felt for months. Finally I said, "I'm not here to fix your guilt. I'm not interested in rebuilding anything. I just wanted you to hear me. To know the truth you refused to ask for." They nodded, ashamed. And I left. Back home, I opened my laptop, created a new document, and titled it The Lost Year. Maybe it'll be a book. Maybe just a journal. But I'm telling my story now. In full. And this time, I'm not letting anyone else write it for me. You always think the final chapter will feel like closure. It doesn't. It feels like standing over the ashes of everything you once loved, trying to decide whether to walk away, or build something new from the ruin. A week after that meeting with Emily, my phone lit up with a name I hadn't seen since before the collapse. Not Paul. Not Mary. It was her father. Of all people. Tim Reynolds. A man who once told me, while sipping scotch at their family's Christmas party, that I'd never really be one of them. The kind of man who offered backhanded compliments like they were a sport. The man who shook my hand at our engagement dinner with fingers too tight and eyes that never fully met mine. "Ryan," his message read. "We need to talk. Please." I should have ignored it. I wanted to ignore it. But curiosity has teeth. We met at a bar downtown. Neutral again. Everything in this part of the story seems to happen in neutral places. Safe zones where nothing ever really is. He looked older. Not in the gray hair way. In the something's weighing on him way. He didn't waste time. "She told us the truth," he said, his voice low, like he was ashamed to even be heard saying it. "About what really happened." I waited. "I'm not going to ask you for forgiveness. I know what we did. We let our daughter rewrite history, and we believed her because she made it easier for us to." His hands shook as he nursed a bourbon. "I always thought you weren't the right man for her. But that didn't give me the right to turn a blind eye when she burned you to the ground." I didn't speak. Just let him sit in the weight of that admission. "She's not well," he added. "I think she's breaking down. Her manager dropped her. Mary left. Sponsors pulled out. She might move home for a while." And then the real reason he came surfaced. "She's afraid you'll sue." Ah. There it is. I smiled, not with joy. With understanding. This man didn't come for closure. He came to preserve whatever fragments of their names still lingered in public. "I haven't filed anything," I said. "Not yet." His jaw clenched. "If you do, you'll destroy her." I looked him dead in the eye. "She destroyed me first. And none of you said a word. Not when I was hospitalized. Not when I was called a monster. Not when I disappeared from your lives like I never mattered. So don't ask me for mercy now." He exhaled, nodded. He didn't apologize again. He didn't beg. But before he left, he said one thing I didn't expect. "She always said you were the safest place she ever knew." I think that scared her. I sat there long after he left, staring at the condensation on my glass. I wanted to be angry. But all I felt was exhausted. A week later, I filed a formal cease and desist letter, not a lawsuit, not yet. But a warning. A boundary. A line she'd never cross again. That same day, I uploaded the final entry in what had now become a series, The Lost Year. It was a video of me sitting in that same apartment, now stripped down to the essentials. No more souvenirs. No more ghostly reminders. Just me. "I used to think healing meant fixing everything," I said into the camera. "But sometimes, healing means acknowledging that some things won't be fixed. That they broke you, and you get to grieve what was taken without guilt." The comments flooded in. Thousands. Tens of thousands. Strangers who resonated. Survivors of emotional betrayal. People who'd lost their voice and found it again in the quiet. And then came one last message. From Mary. I think we both needed to see the truth. I hope you find someone who never asks you to vanish for their story. I smiled for the first time in months. This wasn't a happy ending. But it was a real one. I packed up the last box from the apartment 2 days later. Moved across the country. New job. New place. No more Emily-shaped shadows. Some scars remain. They always will. But now, when people hear my story, they hear my voice telling it. And that's something no one, not her lies, not even the silence of my so-called friends, can take away again.